Ooh. What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Another Sunday in the books. Well, the two best players yesterday, Ravens are playing the Browns, and I saw an all-pro defensive end, might be the best pass rusher, at least of this generation, and then a rookie linebacker, just a monster right in the middle. And they dominated, absolutely dominated. And they both are not on the Ravens. They're both on the Clowns. And yet the Ravens still find a way to win. But if you watch that game yesterday, those are two people that just kept jumping out at you. It's like this Schlesinger character for the Browns making every hit all over the place. They can't block Garrett. We dropped a punt for, I hate to say, no reason whatsoever because it's football and the wind's blowing. I get it. The ball's kind of getting away from Wester and he's standing there. He already committed to catching it, but holy God, is that a bad mistake? Lamar throws it 100 miles an hour at Keaton Mitchell's helmet, which he still probably should catch the ball, but just sloppy and the ball gets tipped up in the air. And it was I don't know if the Ravens could have beat Ohio State yesterday, but they weren't playing Ohio State. They were playing the Clowns. And thank God for Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders because wow. I don't know what to make of that game except the fact that we won. I'm not going to pick on anything that we did wrong. I'm going to focus more on what the Browns did really well because we all watch a lot of football. Those two players on defense for the Browns, and they got a couple other guys too, but those guys in particular were just fantastic yesterday. It was cold. It was on the road. Crowd was into it. So my main takeaway is that we won the game, and we're getting the Jets next week, and then a Bengals team that looks like they're finished. So I don't really think there's anything to be worried about. I also don't think you can jump up and down and feel like we're the Super Bowl favorites. Both things can be true. But if you're complaining about that game and you're like, oh my God, this is horrible, that's horrible, I just think you lose perspective because first of all, it's Monday. Save that for Thursday or Friday. Be happy that we won. You go around the league yesterday, and it's a lot of teams are super unhappy. So for the Ravens, they're 5-5. And they have, if you're watching, right, like who's the best team in the AFC? Is it the Broncos? Because if that's the case, I feel like we can definitely go to the Super Bowl. So I think there's a lot to be happy about. And then the obvious things that went wrong, it's the middle of November. Maybe they'll fix it. Maybe they won't, but they got the win. So that's what I'm focusing on. And I got to give Cleveland credit because I thought they played really well. Their running back, Judkins, is a monster. Not looking forward to tackling him for the next 5 years. And the Ravens defensive line, I thought, showed a couple cracks that wasn't great. But, hey, it is what it is. They win, and that is that. Let's rip through the league because it was an up-and-down day for me. I was 4-3, and then I lost the last two last night as Jalen Hurts. If he threw the ball 28 times, I thought we would get over on the completions, but not so much. What an ugly game last night. Fell asleep halfway through it. The Eagles are just grinding their way back to the playoffs, and the Lions, and we'll get to them in a second. They are, the NFC is wide open, and Lions have not secured a spot. So let's go in order, get a couple big picture thoughts, and that'll be that. So Dolphins beat the Commanders in what was a game that, just completely exemplifies these international games. Just, I don't know how you bet on them. The most random things happen. The Dolphins elect to go for it at the end of the game on the goal line because somewhere in an analytic book told the Dolphins to do that, even though Washington can't move down the field. Nonetheless, the game gets to overtime, and Mariota proves why he's not a franchise quarterback because he has some flashes, but just doesn't have the greatest feel for the game. Throws a really bad interception. Dolphins win. Dolphins are 4-7. Dolphins have a bye. And the Dolphins feel like, hey, in a crazy AFC, maybe we can get hot, make something happen. They did demolish the Bills a couple weeks ago. So they're still in it. And Washington is saying the Dolphins are still in it might be a little bit of a stretch, but they're certainly mathematically still in it. Washington is not. Washington is finished. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with their team in the next in the offseason as Daniels will be back. But they have an older roster. Texans beat the Titans. I knew the Titans was the right play yesterday. Just didn't pull the trigger on it. Texans win a game that they had to win. They're now 5-5. They're going to play the Bills on Thursday night. That's pretty much their season right there. If they want to still have a chance to make the playoffs, feels like they got to win that game. And the Titans are the Titans. So no need to really go on about the Titans. They'll have a new coach. They have their quarterback, which I think he's the real deal. If you don't watch too closely, you might change your mind. But if you see a couple flash plays here or there, Cam Ward's definitely got potential. The potential is being realized here in Carolina. The game I got the most right yesterday is the Panthers offense was going to be prolific. They were going to be able to get up and down on the Falcons. It's a little dicey there at the end of the game as they were stuck on 19, but they find a way to get the touchdown at the end of the game. Falcons tie it. They go to overtime, and the Falcons do what the Falcons do, which is lose a game they should have no business losing. And the Panthers now are in the thick of the playoff race. The Panthers are going to play next Monday in San Francisco. They're 6-5. They're a half game behind the Bucs. They're right in the playoff race. Bryce Young's good, and that rookie receiver, McMillan, Toria, I'm not sure how you say his name. I think his name's Tate. He is a monster, like a huge target. The Panthers hit with that one. Their team is solid. The coach is solid. And the way the Bucs played yesterday, they don't have that division wrapped up. The Falcons will have they got to have new people in charge next year. This is just not working out. Speaking of not working out, that's Baker Mayfield and the Bucs is just not working out really well for Tampa. Started off hot, won all these thrillers, and now the injuries have caught up with them. They get steamrolled by Buffalo in the second half. They just can't stop Josh Allen, can't get off the field. And Allen makes more plays than Baker. I don't want to simplify the game, but that's really what it came down to. It's just back and forth, and Bills made more plays than the Bucs. The Bucs are going to play at Los Angeles next week against the Rams. I mean, the Panthers are going to be playing for first place in the NFC South on Monday Night Football because I don't see the Bucs winning that game next week against LA. And body language isn't great in certain situations from Baker. He fumbles the ball at the end of the game. If you were trying to cover, you weren't thrilled about that. He fumbles the ball a lot when he gets hit in the pocket. So bad loss for Tampa. Buffalo, though, I mean, it's a good win. Buffalo, I kind of feel like same boat as the Ravens right now, which is like you guys aren't the best team in the NFL. Your ceiling might get there, but you're not. I don't. How often do we get to see the ceiling? The Bills' defense keeps playing like that. They can't win 4 straight games there in January, but they didn't have to yesterday. They just need to win one. They do beat Tampa, and they put themselves in a position to still battle with New England. The 1 seed's still alive. All those things are true. The Packers win. I mean, this game was as predictable as any game yesterday where it's like, yeah, this probably will end with Packers winning in between 3 and 7 because the Giants are going to make a mistake at the end, which Jameis Winston did. They just don't have enough weapons. Packers are so much better than the Giants, you would think, but they're just not playing very well, and they can't get out of their own way. They're going to get the Vikings next week, and then they're going to get the Lions on Thanksgiving. So Packers are about to either kick it in the gear or they're going to fall by the wayside because 2 divisional opponents, they don't look great, but they do beat the Giants. The Giants are the worst team record-wise in the NFC. And, things aren't looking great for New York. Maybe next year, right, when they get Dart and Scadaboo back. Speaking of not looking great is the Bengals. They, Joe Burrow is probably sitting there like, I think I'm going to wait till next year because this doesn't look great. The Squealers knock out the Bengals really easily. Rodgers gets hurt. Find out today more about that or tomorrow, or in Aaron Rodgers' case. We'll hear a whole bunch of nonsense for 5 days. I'm not sure. Mason Rudolph comes in. Steelers play at the Bears. I'll get to that game in a second next week. And they're 1 game up on us. Their defense is starting to round into form a little bit. I didn't know how much of that was on them versus the weather and the Bengals not playing well. Chase and Ramsey get into it. If you're spitting on somebody, yeah, it says a lot about you. I don't know if he did or didn't. Those are 2 of my least favorite players. I don't really care too much, but Steelers win. Ravens Steelers collision course for the AFC North here coming up in the next couple of months as we wind down the season, 6-7 weeks left. I knew it was a trap. I can't believe I actually took the Chargers yesterday. I said out loud, the whole point of this podcast in the morning is for me to filter out my thoughts, and I say it out loud, and I still did it. And the Chargers went up 3-0, and it's a low-scoring game. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll be okay. And then the Chargers just died. They literally just died, and the Jags just go right down the field nonstop. They beat the crap out of the Chargers. Chargers can't do anything on offense. 35-6 is the most surprising score of the day. Definitely, I did not see that coming. Of course, the Jags could beat the Chargers. That's why I thought it was a trap game, but maybe it'd be ugly. I didn't see the Chargers giving up all those points. Red flag there for the Chargers as their injuries are piling up. They're 7-4. They still have a tough schedule down the stretch. Jacksonville's relevant. They're alive. I should say they're alive. I don't know if they're relevant, but they are alive. The Bears are becoming relevant. What a win. That's the loss that I had yesterday. I did split it because I had the under in Bears points. The Vikings defense did their part, so I got that part right. But it's this McCarthy situation. And look, McCarthy, I'm not defending him, but can the Vikings receivers also catch the ball? It's like everybody is so anxious and so frustrated at the quarterback that, the receivers are dropping a couple passes. So it's a smorgasbord of terrible things going on in Minnesota as their season's falling apart. They had to win yesterday. That's why I took the Vikings. The defense played well enough to win. They almost still won the game. They were never going to cover, but instead, it's Chicago that's 7-3. Chicago gets Pittsburgh next week in a game that, of course it's a winnable game for Chicago. So they're right there. I still don't think the Bears are going to get to the playoffs, but they certainly have a better chance than the Vikings after yesterday. So I got that one wrong. The Niners destroyed the Cardinals. The Niners they're going to inch towards the playoffs. It looks like they get the Panthers. I think I said that now 3 times on Monday night next week. I can't wait for that game. I know it's not the sexiest matchup, but Niners, Panthers, playoff implications. Brock Purdy looked good. They just jumped on the Cardinals. Brissett set a record yesterday for completions, and they lost by 20 points. Like literally set a record in the NFL with most completions, and they lost by 20 points. So that's pretty much the Cardinals. I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't know how I didn't cover this Rams game. I knew Darnold was going to see ghosts yesterday. It just was the perfect spot for the Rams defense, and I should have just taken the under in the Seahawks points also, but I didn't. The Rams let the Seahawks get the backdoor cover. They just didn't put the game away. The Rams are lucky that they held on to win the game because Seattle had a chance to win the game with a field goal. Rams did not show me a championship level, put your foot on your neck. I came away from that game thinking, I believe in the Seahawks even more now because they could have gotten blown out. They didn't. The defense was great. It held up. McDonald's got that team. They're just fun to watch. Rams win, though. Stafford gets it done. And, Rams are the best team in the NFC besides the Eagles. As the Eagles beat the Lions, I'm going to get the Chiefs game to finish up. But the Eagles beat the Lions, and I don't know what we learned about the Eagles game, but the Lions, again, red flag, right? Like you don't want to play like that. Man, you're basically feeding into all the narratives that you can't play outside when it's cold. If you don't have the lead, you become predictable. Golf wasn't good. The easiest story today is golf's just not that good. I'm not going to buy into that. The Eagles defense is just really good. So we'll find out way more about the Lions here in the next couple of weeks. But Eagles roll. Eagles are positioned for the 1 seed. And then the game of the day yesterday, Chiefs lose to the Broncos in what is now becoming it's now becoming a thing. Like the Chiefs might not make the playoffs. The Jaguars won yesterday. The Ravens and the Texans keep winning. Hell, the Dolphins are lurking. It's not a lock by any stretch that the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs, and they're going to play the Colts next week. And then they play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving on a short week. Wow, things are super dicey there with Kansas City. Watching that game yesterday, because I didn't see the whole game as I got the Ravens game on primarily, but the thing that was just mind-boggling for the Chiefs is Kelce is rolling. 9 for 91 and a huge touchdown. He made a move on a 3rd down play that was, vintage Travis Kelce. It was the fact that Mahomes was just bad yesterday. He had no feel for the game. That might be one of the few times I think I can ever say that. The last time I remember thinking that was the AFC Championship game when the Bengals came back and beat the Chiefs 4 years ago now, where Mahomes just didn't have a feel for the game. It felt like didn't know when to run, didn't know if it was now the time to take a deep shot. And he didn't connect on a couple of the deep shots. Chiefs 5-5. They get the Colts at home next week. It was just, I can't wait to watch that game because the Colts coming off a bye and they have a chance. The spread's only 3.5. So they're telling you that maybe this Chiefs magic is running out, or maybe that's rock bottom for them and they bounce back. I did have the Broncos yesterday. The Broncos are winning games. I'm certainly not taking the Broncos to get all the way to the AFC Championship game. I think they'll lose at some point in the playoffs in the first or second round. But they also, that defense is just ferocious. So got to get the lead on the Broncos for sure. And then you got to run the ball right at them. You can't be they might be the best 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 team, them and the Texans on defense. You get stuck in 3rd and 6 on the Broncos, and they're just coming for you. Same thing with the Texans. So that is the recap. I don't know if we learned so much. I felt like the week before, maybe we learned a little bit more, but nonetheless, that is that. The Raiders are going to play the Cowboys tonight. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I'm going to take a bunch of props on the Cowboys because the Cowboys are coming off a bye. I think the Cowboys have a shot to make a run. Their schedule is the Eagles and the Chiefs after tonight. So if they can be 4-5-1 and they get home against the Eagles, then they play home against the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. It's why Jerry wanted to make the trade. Felt like, hey, we got one more shot at this thing. Let's bring in some reinforcements. So they bring in the big D tackle, Quinnen Williams. They get Logan Wilson from the Bengals. And, the offense is dynamic. I think the Raiders are a shit show. I think 3.5 is a gift. I don't know who wants to take the Raiders tonight, but it's not going to be me. I will take the Cowboys, and I'll find about 4 or 5 props for the Cowboys to take. And, Orioles are making some moves here with the coaching staff. Actually, pretty pleased with everything they're doing. I think you got to let the new manager come in and have people next to him every day that he enjoys being around, that he can trust. It's a long season, a lot of meals together. So I think it's pretty cool that he's bringing in most of the guys that he wants, and they kept the pitching staff intact, which I think is also okay because Drew French was new to the program. Kind of like him for what I've seen from him. So happy with the Orioles. We'll see what they do. And it can all start today. Thinking if I messed anything up or missed anything, I think that's about it. So I'll be back here on Thursday. Good luck on the games tonight. Good luck on anything and everything you're betting on. Any questions, feel free, as always, to shoot me a text or give me a call. All right. Have a happy Monday, guys. See ya.